done for me?
Everything in, yeah.
Record.
Oh, it's unbelievable. I didn't miss a day. Not one day.
Like this.
Gotta shave it back off. Good to go. You guys ready to go? Ron, you ready?
Yep.
All right. Morning, everybody. I want to welcome you guys to the Commissioners meeting this morning. We'll go ahead and bring the Board of Commissioners meeting to order on October 25th, 2022. We've got Christina Stoner here from Bethel United Methodist Church for prayer. Morning.
Thank you for having me today. Let's bow our heads in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you today to thank you for blessing our lives with your love, your care, and your presence. Lord, we ask blessings over this meeting. Be with us as we make decisions and help those decisions glorify your kingdom. I ask for a hedge of protection over each and every one of these people today. Thank you for this wonderful day that you've given us. Thank you for the prospect of the rain. May your light shine in us and through us to bless others and praise your holy name. Thank you. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. All right, we got the meeting minutes from October 11th. You guys had a chance to review those? Any changes?
I see one correction that needs to be made under Security Center roof. It has the motion was moved by Nathan Gabhart, and I don't think he was at that meeting, so that's a trick. That should have been made by Ron.
Ron Arnold, okay.
Yeah. And I normally would have pointed that earlier, but I didn't see it till this morning.
All right.
That's the only thing I saw.
Anything else? With that amendment, anything else? If not, look for a motion to approve.
I'll abstain.
So moved.
Got a motion by Ron Arnold. I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. We did have a highway meeting this morning at the highway department. It was at 7:30. Chris Winkler, Nathan Gabhart, and Michael Taylor's present. Discussed 4-H paving at the parking lot, paving at the 4-H grounds. 300 north, possible paving out there, hauling of stone back to the Daviess County Highway Garage, and 800 north repairs. All right, Chris. Morning.
Morning. I guess under projects, the Kennelberg Road, I told you guys last time they had all the concrete done and the blacktop shoulders done. And we had a couple sections of concrete fail, so they're gonna be cut out. We sent a notice out to all the companies on our road closure list. But they're gonna cut it out today and pour the concrete back in the sections tomorrow. And it'll probably be 3 to 4 days before it's back open. We were gonna pour the concrete today and it would be back open on the 28th, but now it's gonna all ship by a day. But they cracked and we needed to take them out and re-pour them. So that'd be a complete closure, and that's why we notified the ambulance, and I guess did they notify you? Okay, yeah. I think they notified everybody, so there won't be no getting around. Right now we got a lot of people going through the work site, but
Right.
so it's probably dug out already. On the bridge, the Montgomery Bridge, I haven't really talked to anybody, but I noticed they've started doing some utility relocations on there. They're moving some utilities around, so the construction's still scheduled to start in March, but the utilities got to be moved out of the way before that starts.
And on that note too, just a quick update, I spoke to Mike Haley about the interlocal agreement. They're still waiting on the numbers from the state to determine what tax rate they can why to determine what their full amount will be.
Okay,
And then we'll have the interlocal, but you should have that completed, in November.
okay.
Chris, why don't we back up to the bids, highway bids?
Did I miss that? Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, bids. So on the 2023 annual bids, item number 6, stone. We got Cave Quarries, Rogers Group, and US Aggregates, and we would accept all bids. The 2023 freight rate, delivered to town. Okay, item number 3, concrete and masonry products. We got Jones and Sons and JJ's Concrete. We would accept both of them. Item 4, flowable fill. JJ's and Jones and Sons, we'd accept both of them. Item 5, sand and gravel. We would accept Rogers Group. Item number 3, HDP pipe. Civil Supply, Civil Con, J Kemp, we would accept all. And item number 3, metal pipe, Civil Con, St. Regis, we'd accept both of them. Item number 1, lubricating oils, grease, antifreeze, would accept Bustler. Item number 10, calcium chloride, we would accept Great Lakes Chloride. Don't have an item number, but asphalt and emulsions, asphalt materials, and Rejuve-Tech, we would accept both of those. Item 9, tiling, J Kemp's, we'd accept that. And item number 8, concrete box and culverts, we would accept JJ's.
Right.
And we talked about various reasons why we accept all, so I don't know.
Depends where the stone gets hauled in the county, where the freight rate comes into play, so it's cheaper sometimes to order from somewhere else to get it here, even though somebody else has got a lower bid. Of what time you add freight onto it, it's higher, so that's the reason we accept multiple bids on some occasions. You guys have anything else for Chris on that? Good with bids?
No.
If not, look for a motion to approve bids from the highway department as their recommendations.
So moved.
A motion by Nathan Gabhart,
Second.
second by Ron Arnold, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, go Chris.
Okay, on vacate the right of way in the Glendale Living Waters Church, I guess this, looks like we got some members here. Is that what Cleet's here for? Do you want to hear from them, or how do we do that?
Yeah, going to speak on that a little bit on how we do that.
Well, I guess that they petitioned the Board of Commissioners to vacate the public right-of-way in that area, because I think it was platted in 1866 or something. It's just a paper road that's never materialized into anything, and runs across their property probably in about 2 different ways. And we've done that in the past. We've done it probably last year or something.
Right.
In Maysville. It's pretty unhandy to have them paper roads that don't mean nothing on the highways department, so I'd be glad to get rid of all of them. But when some conversations talking about it, sometimes with the public right-of-ways, we grant utility easements to go through them. So I would think that before we would stamp it that we want to vacate that, we probably need to do utility locate on it, because they're gonna notify all the surrounding landowners, but if there's a utility going across it, they won't ever be notified. And we vacate it, it becomes their property, and now there's a utility that has no right-of-way that runs across the property.
Right.
So I would think that we would wanna
Locate that first, yeah.
locate, I don't think there's anything there, but
Right.
get a locate on it, see if there's any utility, and then maybe make contact with that utility. And then they can work out any stipulations, with the new people, the Living Waters Church gets it, that, hey, we need to have a 15-foot or 30-foot right-of-way for our utility that you can't build on. I should have sent Grant something on that, to
Okay.
let you know, but
The utility question up in Bragglesville, I mean, it's a similar type of.
that's kind of what tapped into it, because we give the gas company a permit to use the public right-of-way of an alley, and if 5 years from now, some landowner petitions to vacate that alleyway, you know, that paper road, then they'll notify everybody but the utility company, and now there's a gas line running through there.
The thing I would say, under the statute for the vacation of public right-of-ways, they do have a requirement to send letters to abutting landowners about this particular meeting, and then put a notice in the newspaper at least 10 days prior to this. And so they've done that, and anyone who's aggrieved is allowed to show up and say, hey, I don't like that idea. And certainly, to your point, maybe the utility companies or someone like that wouldn't know it, or someone who benefits from that utility easement. I would also say under the statute, they've got 30 days from the approval of this to appeal that or push back against that. And I don't know if anyone is here today relative to the vacation of public right-of-way in the unincorporated community of Glendale. So, big picture, Living Waters Church is wanting to put a cemetery in. They have approval from the Board of Zoning Appeals to do a cemetery on their property, and this would be kind of the last step for the vacation of public right-of-way.
Right-of-way. Is there anybody from Living Water Church here this morning that wants to speak? If you do, come up to the podium and state your name.
I really don't have much to say.
Yeah,
We
state
just-
your name for us.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Cletus Yoder from Living Waters Church.
Morning.
I really don't have much to say, is that we would just like to get everything legal, so we know where we stand, and that everybody in the community is okay with it. So it's like Grant already said and Chris said, that's basically what I had to have to say. So
Okay.
thank you very much for doing this, whatever you can do for us.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any other adjoining landowners here to speak? I was just asking if there's any other landowner, adjoining landowners here to speak on that behalf of the.
So we had advertised this particular meeting in the newspaper as a public hearing for anybody who is, if they want to, I guess, protest or say that they don't want the vacation of public right-of-way, they're able to do that. And then again, persons would have 30 more days to remonstrate or push back.
And we haven't heard anything at the highway department. Nobody's called us about it and complained, and we're all in favor of it. With the getting a locate and checking the utilities was just maybe pro-thinking to not put anybody in a situation that we've give somebody a permit to years ago to utilize that public right-of-way, and now it's
Right.
somebody else is in control of that right-of-way.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see any issues with it. I mean, especially if you facilitate the location of it and get a clear report, then I'd be okay making a motion pending that, approve the vacation.
Anything on that, Ron?
No, as long as the utilities
Back.
easement's taken care of. So.
Is that your motion?
That'd be in my motion.
Pending a location?
Yeah.
Okay, I got a motion by Nathan Gabhart, vacate right away at Glendale for the Living Water Church, pending the location of utilities. Is that a second?
You do.
Got a motion by Ron Arnold, second by Ron Arnold. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thanks, Chris.
Okay, the next thing's the REO representative from the coal mine, Matt Huber and Ed Hartsberger here. I guess you guys want to talk about your request and what you're wanting to do and stuff?
Morning, gentlemen.
Well, REO has acquired
State your name.
this is Ed Hartsburg, I'm sorry. REO's acquired the Antioch mine and to keep the mine going, the life of the mine. We've been talking with Chris and had some limited conversations with you guys, the commissioners, about going through County Road 200. And we've talked to Chris, and we kind of worked out that we would resurface, chip and seal County Road 500 from 100 north to 200 north. And then we would mine through. The agreement that we've got in front of Grant shows, I think it was 4,300 foot. Now, right now, I don't know exactly what the length would be, but that 4,300 foot would cover, you know, the whole width of our mine plan.
Right.
And then the agreement would, we would mine through the road, have the road put back within 30 months. We'd have it back open for the first year as a gravel road per county specs. We'd come back at the end of that first year and chip and seal it, and then run on it for another year. And then at the end of the third year, we'd put it back to county specs for Blacktop Road. And then at that time, if the county wanted to leave the road closed for a longer period, the way the agreement's drafted as it is, we would just, you know, whatever the cost was, we would, you know, reimburse the county at that time. And then also, like I said, the bulk of the reserves is south of that road. We would still have one rock crossing somewhere in that 4,300 feet.
Right.
And
That'd be for an extended period of time, right?
yeah, I mean, this agreement it's a 3-year agreement, but it's set up to extend.
Yeah, the crossing, because I think you guys had stuff clear up to 2027, 28, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you know, our current mine plan shows 2028.
Yeah.
And I've forwarded the documents to Grant. This is my understanding. This is the first step, and then we would have to publish it for, I think it's 30 days, and then we'd come before you, the board members, at the end of that 30 days, and with the agreements.
I know Nathan had I know the last meeting we had, discussed the highway meeting, you wanted right away in place before.
Oh, yeah, I mean, when we go put that road back from 200 north, just what we discussed at our meeting, the current landowners on 200 north, when we go and upgrade a road, we need to get updated right-of-ways signed. So, we'd like to get all those right-of-ways signed as they're signing their co-mine agreements, to go ahead and sign the right-of-ways to allow us to put those roads back the way you mentioned.
Well, we discussed that, and that's something we'll have to work out with the landowners. That's correct.
Yeah, so that'd be contingent upon this, though.
Okay.
Because there's like 6 or 7 landowners, I believe.
I don't believe there's that many. I think there'd be
I think there's 4 total.
4, I think.
Yeah, there's only, yeah.
And I think, depending on where we actually mine, it could be 3. And then,
Yeah, I guess that's my point. We just need 3 signatures, so I was hoping that wouldn't take a ton of time.
Yeah.
And if those landowners know that, hey, it's kind of contingent upon, you know, one, you're getting a paved road put back, but we just need an updated right-of-way signed. It's crazy to think, but we've had issues in the past when we've blacktopped roads.
Right.
Getting people to sign a right-of-way. So I just would prefer to get those signed now while everyone's in a good mood. And then 3 years from now, when we're trying to put this road back. Fine with that. Is that
We'll work on that. In fact, one of the landowners is here now, and
oh, good? So they can
Well-
sign. They can sign now then.
we haven't discussed this yet, but we'll work it through it.
Okay. All right, great. Because that'd be important for us, just because I mean.
So
with
you're
that-
going from 40 foot to 50 foot, right?
Right.
I think that's all.
25 foot from the center.
Yeah,
Correct.
50 foot
Each
wide,
direction.
yeah.
What are we now? Are we 20 foot?
Some of it, there's some 30 foot on that road, there's existing right of way on that road that it's 80 years old.
Right.
Yeah.
I think even on some of the property that maybe Tim owns is somebody signed it that don't own the land anymore, so to update them right of ways, to give the county the ability to maintain the traveling surface is big to us, because we gotta keep the water off the road.
Yeah, I mean, it's what we do on all 800 miles of our roads. It's no different than we do anywhere else, so that'd be great.
I met with the gentleman, a week or 2 ago?
Last Thursday or
Last
Friday, I believe
Thursday.
it was, yeah.
And my concern was the history of the mine hasn't been stellar, to say the least. But New company now.
It's a new company. It's a stronger coal market than what it was 4 years ago. We've got contracts, Matt, if I say something out of line, tell me. We've got contracts tied up for 3 years with extensions after that time.
Yeah, my concern was that if they open the pit and then they go bankrupt, then we're gonna be stuck with the pit.
Reclaim it, yeah.
Not to mention, we'll never get the road back. But after talking to them, they've convinced me, and all I've asked them is to get with Grant and make sure that when they say they're gonna put the road back, all the legal work is in place that ties them to that.
Right.
But other than that, I have no issue.
I don't have any issue either. I did at the beginning because that is a pretty heavily traveled road, and we just finally got it finalized, blacktop from highway clear over to Canterbury Road. But
Right.
I do understand we got to do business here too, so I don't have any issue closing the road.
And is there any issue with utilities along the road?
We haven't started working with them, but in the past, we had some conversations with them, and, you know, I think there's a power line where we're putting the power line back on 350. We met with them last week, so power would be rerouted, then we'd have the gas and the water, and I think RTC, but we will reach out to them and come up with some alternative, keep the utilities.
Have you had, I know you've had contact with some of your landowners. Have you had contact with all the landowners and then everybody's on an agreement of that?
Repeat the question?
You've had, all the landowners at the south of the road that you're gonna mine on, you've had contact with all those gentlemen?
Yeah, yes, to the best of my knowledge, yeah. There's only be two people that are here and one other, and I think Matt's met with them, it's my understanding.
Okay, you just reach out, okay. Okay, thanks. Anything else, guys?
Nope.
All right. You wanna close the road today, or are we gonna wait 30 days, or what?
Well, I think there's some wording and
Couple more
stuff
steps.
in the agreement.
What's that?
Couple more steps that,
Steps,
but
okay.
they'll-
I think the next step is we have to, I think I need to get with Grant, but I think we have to publish in the local paper for 30 days, I think, once a week, I don't know.
They've provided a draft of a closure agreement and the things that they will do as it pertains to that. And so we just have to follow that process. I
Make
think you
sure we
guys
get the
have a
road.
draft of that, but we'll
Yeah.
get a revised draft of
Just
that.
on Nathan's point, we need to make sure the right of way's in that.
And make sure everything's documented and signed before we approve it.
Yeah.
That would be the next meeting, I think, Ron.
Yeah.
And you two will still be working with them in 36 months when we have any issues?
I've got 7 years, so I hope to be.
No promises.
I did ask them for personal guarantees, which they were unwilling to give.
My birthday is in January, and I'm getting awful close to retirement. No commitments yet.
All right, all
I'll
right.
work with you till
Sounds
I'm
good.
80.
Anything else for Ed or
No,
Matt?
thank you.
I just need to get with Grant and make sure that we're square on what the next steps are. It's been so long since I've done one of these.
So we just need to know how long it is. We gotta get that easement language in that the county has. You guys have to communicate with some landowners.
Right.
And then we'll bring it back to another meeting in the future.
Okay, well, thanks, Jim.
Appreciate it, guys.
Appreciate your
Yep.
consideration, guys. Thank you very much.
Good day.
And that's all I had.
So you got
Yep.
no LPA vouchers today either?
No LPA
Damn.
vouchers, and like Grant said with the contract from REO, they give us one blueprint and we update it a little bit, and we'll kind of keep fine tuning it to get all the wording correct. We don't have no surprises.
Yeah. Did you guys have anything to say on that, on the 200 North? Okay. All right, thanks, Chris, appreciate it. Have a good day. All right, code compliance officer, I know Ron wanted to speak on this a little bit.
Yeah, I know we've struggled with this and getting things in place, and I'd want to open back the discussion with the city of Washington, and instead of paying them to hire a person, just pay them per occurrence. But where the thought would be is that we could budget so much money, we would never exceed that on an annual basis. But let them mainly concentrate on the 2-mile radius around Washington. They have everything in place to do that. And then if there's anything outside of that, it could be reviewed by, see if we wanted to pursue that or not. Because there's only, when you look at it, I hate to commit $35,000 a year and hire someone when I think this is a smaller problem than that, but yet it is a problem. So I'd like to open up those discussions again with the city and the building commissioner's office to see if we couldn't work something out to where it's just on a case-by-case basis. However many they do, that's what we would pay for.
I think that's our biggest concern right now. Most of it, probably 90% of it's in a 2-mile radius around Washington. I know we got other places out in the county. Nathan's worked on this before on different things. People's reached out to you on different properties in the county.
Yeah, I think it's more of it's bigger than a Washington thing. I mean, I think it's the Crane gas station. I think of the house outside Offordsville, junkyard just south of Crane on 231.
And they would still cover that, but it'd just be on a case-by-case
So
basis at probably our discretion.
Yeah, I guess I'm not against the idea. I mean, I guess my thing is I would probably suggest we look at the current zoning agreement too, that, Mayor Wellman and I drafted back in 15, and maybe use that as a model and just maybe incorporate it into that agreement. And see if that agreement needs to be adjusted either way, and.
Look at that, and again, as far as our code that we would pass, it should mirror pretty much what the city has, with a few exceptions.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that the county has total control over the process, and the county has total control over the properties that are on the list, and that the county has total control of what we deem to be
Yeah, and I think we can do that by agreement.
I mean, if that's something you want to work on and see what you guys hammer out, and then I'm definitely not against it.
I didn't want to take it any further. I've had initial discussions. They're willing to discuss it. The mayor's willing to discuss it. I didn't want to go any further unless you all were on board.
I would say
I'd be fine with that.
start with the $70,000 or $75,000 agreement we have in place with them now with the zoning, and just open that agreement up just so we don't have two separate agreements, and just make it a component of that, and see if that agreement needs to increase or decrease in cost based off the amount of overhead. 'Cause back in 15, we didn't know how much time it was going to take
Right.
for the zoning, so let's just go ahead and maybe revamp that too.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Sounds good. All right. Next thing on the agenda is Iraq's jail program update. Vanessa Phillips and Shania Bradley. Morning.
Good morning. My name is Vanessa Phillips. Shayna was unfortunately not able to be with us this morning. I promised you the last time I was here that I would come back and give an update on how things have been going, and this time I brought my team with me. We have Lucas Atkins. He's our group engagement coordinator. We have Troy Pickle. He's our re-entry peer support. We have Heather Coleman. She's our forensic peer. And then we have Heather Racy. She's our resource navigator. So we're small but mighty. Since implementation, IRAX has engaged with 234 participants. These participants include those that are currently incarcerated and those that have been bonded out from the facility. The average age demographics of those individuals range between the ages of 26 and 45. So most of those individuals are young, family, working class individuals that are going to be seeking employment. Most of those individuals that are incarcerated or that we're working with are persons that are identify as being white. We have 21 that identify as being black, 20 that their race was not listed, and 4 that prefer not to answer. Let's see here. So we track engagement channels of individuals we're working with. We have brief check-ins where we're just connecting with someone that's in the jail on, maybe just having a conversation with them, trying to support them in the moment. We're doing group sessions. And then we do what's called a full intake, where we collect basic demographic information, legal history, and mental health history from that individual. We've had a total of 1,436 engagements with those individuals. Those are either in person or via phone. And of those 1,436, 1,050 of them have been in person. So that's pretty impressive for only being up and running, I would say, fully since August. Let's see here. I wanted to write down some success stories for you guys so that you know that we're doing good work and trying to help collaborate and build relationships in our community. Currently, we've developed a relationship with the Knox County Health Department and the Daviess County Health Department to help obtain free birth certificates for those that are currently incarcerated. We've been able to obtain 9 birth certificates thus far. We've started an MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding process, with the Social Security Administration with the permission of Sheriff Allison for the Daviess County Jail. So then we're able to obtain Social Security cards for individuals. Or today, actually, 30 individuals will be getting free ID cards. So they have legal Indiana identification cards before they leave the jail. We've had 8 people successfully placed in recovery housing. One of those individuals actually went to inpatient residential treatment before transitioning into recovery housing. And then we have 45 people engaged in our Matrix group, which is an evidence-based group programming that we do inside the jail program. And we launched that on September 15th. What else? Otherwise, daily, we've been able to build an office space in the basement of the jail where we're able to be inside the facility, so it's easy to access the clients that we're working with on a daily basis. We help jail staff, supporting them with challenges they might face when working with individuals that are coming into the jail. A lot of these individuals have complex needs, whether it's housing, food insecurity, unemployment issues, or needing to seek treatment. We're able to help connect with them. We've built relationships with our community-based peer recovery team, our community corrections, probation, our court system. We've been going to court and trying to collaborate with our prosecutor and our judge. So all in all, we've successfully started to implement this program here in Daviess County. So I'm hopeful that you guys are excited just as we are with the success we've had already. You guys
Sounds good, yeah.
You guys have any questions for us?
Anything? Vanessa?
How many of the individuals are in the workforce?
So we haven't started tracking that yet, just because we're having difficulty tracking when someone comes into jail. They're given a bond and they bond out. That could be on 2 a.m. on a Saturday, right? We're not at the jail. So trying to track that. Of all the people living in the recovery houses that we have tracked leaving, they're all fully gainfully employed and living in a recovery house.
I'd be interested in some exact numbers.
Yeah.
I think it's a great program. Again, the idea is to get more productive and less of a burden to society, but yet get them productive.
Absolutely. And those that do engage with us when they bond out, we haven't had the opportunity to connect with them face to face, but they do leave with a bonding packet. That's what we call it anyway. And it has resource information in it, has our contact information, and then we do try to reach out to them once we have their information. And so if we are able to connect with them, then we do try to collect that information and all of those things.
Sounds good. That's a
Yeah,
great
sounds
program.
great. Thanks for the update.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well done.
If you ever have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Yes, I appreciate it. All right, we got the Daviess County Burn Ban, Scott Myers. Morning, Scott.
The current burn ban that was in effect would expire, and so we're looking at if whether it needs to be renewed or not. With today's forecast, half inch to an inch of rain is possible. That might buy us a few days if we don't get any more rain, but looking at the long term, it looked like maybe there'd be chances of rain every 3 or 4 days to get back into a cycle again. So
These burn bans are 7 days, right?
7
They
days,
run
yes.
7 days.
Yes.
There's like a provision that's quoted in here. You can do 7 days, and then you would have to come back to this body to lengthen that.
Like
So you
that.
could say any period of time that you would want from now. I mean, not.
What's your
Since
guys'
it's a burn
thought?
ban, you don't want it to be, too long.
Yeah. You guys have any thoughts on it? I mean, it looks like rain today, but it's been so dry, it's hard to make it rain when it's dry, so.
Yeah, that half inch of rain's not going to last very long. as
Half
far
inch
as-
not, and if we had an inch over a day's time, it would help a bunch, but when it rains, it's probably gonna rain pretty quick, so.
Yeah, I mean, can we just not do it in like 7-day intervals and then do it? Or,
We could either renew it now for 7 days or
yeah.
just put it off until, have to do it again some other day.
Just let it lift.
What's that?
Just let the ban lift.
We could lift it today if we wanted to. It's actually lifted right now, right?
Yes.
Okay. And what do you advise? What do you think we should do?
Fire departments are encouraging it to reissue it, of course. They've been busy the past week, but like I say, if we get a little bit of rain, then
Another week, and then obviously, I mean, they can, I'm reading it now, and obviously if they're camping and they have a 23-inch or larger diameter fire ring or 10 inches higher, they can still have campfires and so forth, so. And you can burn your debris if you have a mesh cover, so I think there's a lot of, maybe a little bit of confusion in the marketplace that they can't burn their trash at all and have a campfire at all, but those practices are
As long as it's contained in a
still allowed.
container.
it's contained and has a screen on top.
Top of it.
Burnable.
Yeah, I'd be okay extending it another week.
Yeah. Ron, you feel
Yeah,
similar?
yeah, I mean, till it rains, we've got a problem.
Yeah, it's definitely a problem. I know we've had a few field fires and stuff catching on fire, and it's a strain on everybody when that happens.
Luckily,
Fire
we
departments.
haven't lost a combine yet, but there's been some smoking.
I was actually helping a neighbor the other day, and their combine caught on fire, but they was able to get it out before anything serious happened, so.
Just call my wife and tell her to stop yelling at me that the boxes are piling up. It's not my fault.
It's your fault now, you got to get a screen, right?
Yeah, true, yeah. And there are exceptions. So yeah, I'd be okay. I'd make a motion to extend it by a week.
I got a motion by Nathan Gabhart to extend the burn ban.
Second.
Second by Ron Aron, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. Anything else, Scott?
I'm on the next line item too, I believe.
Okay, yep, go ahead.
This is just the annual interlocal agreement between the city of Washington and Daviess County for EMA services.
Right.
Is that basically the same agreement we've had in the past? No issues at all from the city? Okay, yeah.
Come on up, Mayor.
I'm sorry. I'm your meeting.
Dave Rhodes, Mayor of the City of Washington. We had this agreement come up to us last night, and there was a question by a councilman that stood up that, and I can't remember the $250,000, how we came about that. His concern was to make sure that extends from year to year, that don't decrease. He was worried about that. I couldn't remember exactly how that came about.
Yeah, sure. So we've worked on the central dispatch for probably 6 years before we got it going, and the 250,000 basically was a number that through the course of that time, the county felt was conservative enough to allow us to continue to fund the other things that get funded out of that account. So 250, there wasn't some magic formula we used, but we thought, okay, we know we can allocate 250 and still have enough left for other stuff, assuming that the revenue still keeps coming in at that rate. So that's where we set it at 250, and then that comes off the top, and then we split the rest based off the formula. So there's definitely no intention of it decreasing. Theoretically, if that 911 funding on the cell phones changes, then it could theoretically have a downstream impact on that, but I don't anticipate that happening.
Well, yeah, because I was part of most of those meetings since I've been in office, but at one time on some of the paperwork I seen, that number was 350 at one time.
Yeah.
And then it became 250, so Councilman Brown asked the question how that 250 came about, and I couldn't remember any special formula.
Yeah, we had a variety of people from a variety of different interest points who kept throwing out different numbers along the way. But the county was very generous and very stern that the 250 was all we could afford out of that 911 fund.
And that original number came from Baker Tilly. You know, when they did they did the study originally. I mean, they had that on their paperwork, but you know,
then they got it from us.
But he's afraid he don't want it to decrease because a decrease would, of course, knock that number that
For sure.
we pay up. But you know, we know there's a certain amount of money that comes in 911 each year, E911 each year, and you know, his concern was where'd it come from, and you know, hopefully no plans of decreasing that. And he is part of one of our committees, so he will be involved as long as he's in office. But
yeah, we want to make sure, like, the Spillman software we purchased for the city and the county, 5 years ago, that was a sizable chunk. We want to make sure there's money left for that. So Baker Tilly came in on like year 3 and took all of our notes, and then a number of people were in their ears. So that's where those numbers.
yeah, and I was part of it. I just couldn't remember and give him an answer last night. So I got to go. I'll report back to him, and we'll sign the agreement. The agreement's, is what we want to see and what my clerk treasurer wants to see as far as making those
Yeah.
You know, those reports going to her is a good thing because that gives us paperwork to see exactly how that came about.
Well, yeah, and it's good for each of us, county and city, to remember too, because I haven't seen the most recent budget numbers from the central dispatch, but I mean, one side was spending 500,000 and the other side was spending 600,000 total running our own central dispatches. And now combined, my guess is those numbers have both decreased.
Yeah.
And we have a better product.
It worked out on the first one, and then another thing in that agreement, it's a good thing because we want January to June, into June, and that way that bill comes in pretty early. Where this last time it kind of dragged out a little bit, but we want to get it paid currently. So because the county, I think at one time did reach out to us and one like, where's the payment? Well, we never did get an invoice.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, so we had it all on paper, but
it's working.
Yeah,
it's working.
Good.
But I just wanted to ask that question. We'll sign the agreement. And it won't be no problem. But it didn't get signed last night for those reasons.
That sounds great. I'll reach out to Derek occasionally and the sheriff's department. It sounds like everything's going fairly well. This was didn't get enough of the proper press, in my opinion, but the two municipalities joining us a dispatch is fairly unprecedented.
Yeah, we're working through, and Julie's doing a great job working through some things. Of course, employment's a big thing, but we want to leave money in that E911 because if either department needs equipment, we want to be able to supply that to them too if we can.
Yeah.
Sure. Yep, appreciate it.
Thanks, Mayor.
When will we get an updated report on just how it is doing? I know they're just really getting started and getting things lined up, but.
I know they had an operations board meeting just a few weeks ago, but Julie, you want to be put on the spot, or?
Yeah, I can.
She's on next on the.
I mean, I'm excited to see the numbers, because I think it will be a good deal.
Yeah, well,
I'm
let's
sorry.
not finish here real quick. She's on the agenda. Two more things now.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm finished with my speech. We just need to,
All right.
need to approve it, I guess.
Yeah. So we got an interlocal agreement between the city and the county for EMA services. You guys have any more questions on that?
Because this is EMA, this is different.
Yeah.
So so everything there's remained the same.
Yes.
Okay.
Ronnie, got anything on that?
No.
EMA services? If not, look for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Got a motion by Nathan Gabhart,
Second.
second by Ron Arnold. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Scott. Nathan, you get two responses on that one. There, Ron, there's 2 pages there to sign. All right, next item is the CASA grant application. Do we have anybody here for CASA?
No, this is just for informational purposes. It's their annual stuff that they do every year.
I read the application, and it just was a little bit confusing to me, but I guess is it the same as it always is? Brandon, have you had a chance to look that over?
I have looked at it. I mean, it's a document from the Indiana Supreme Court relative to our local CASA program and the monies that they're.
It just the way the dollar amounts were put in there was a little bit different than I've seen in the past, so I guess.
I don't remember seeing an agreement like this in the past.
That's what I mean, it was different.
But
So I'm fine with it. I mean, it's a grant application through the courts, but I would just want to make sure everything was the way it should be, because it was different than it has been in the past. You guys have anything else on the CASA grant application?
There were no carryover funds, so apparently they're spending everything they're getting.
Yeah. Anything else?
No questions, all great program.
If not, look for a motion to approve the grant application for Daviess County CASA.
So moved.
Got a motion by Nathan Gabhart,
Second.
second by Ron Arnold, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, Central Dispatch, Julie. Good morning.
Julie Berry, Communications Director for Central Dispatch. Do you want me to give the update first or talk about what's on the
Go ahead and give
agenda?
your update real quick, and then we'll
Okay.
talk about what's on the agenda.
As of right now, so we've basically been fully merged since March. Things are going pretty well, is the feedback that I'm getting from the sheriff, the chief, the board. We have had some issues with turnover, which was expected in the beginning. I've had about 3 people leave to go to a private sector, making $27 an hour. Can't compete with that. So, been trying to get word out there. Looking, I've reached out to VU law enforcement professors, give them some information if they have any students that are maybe looking to get their foot in the door in law enforcement. I know we had the Heroes program at Bar Reeve last week that I attended with some of the other first responders, and I spoke to Chastity Sword, which is their guidance counselor there, about looking if any seniors need internships to try to get their foot in the door, because that's how I started in dispatch. I interned with the Sheriff's Department my senior year, and here I am 15 years later. So that's been the biggest struggle right now, is keeping staffing. It's a very taxing job. It's the shift work, we're there 24/7. If somebody calls in sick, somebody else has got to be there. So making sure that we have enough people working on each shift to take care of our first responders in all aspects. So especially this past couple weeks, past couple days, with the fires that we've been having, and having to send mutual aid over to other counties to help with the fires that they've been having. It's been trying. So we're looking at different things. I attended the 911 Professionals Conference for Indiana at the end of September, learning some new things to help better, our center, just leadership things, is retaining employment, things like that. So overall, from the feedback that I'm getting from stakeholders, that things are going well. So,
Julie, regarding the salaries, have you reached out to any surrounding counties and done some sort of salary wage comparison to see how we?
Not yet.
Okay.
I know there was an increase in salaries whenever to bring the county staff up to what the city was making. And just trying to get,
Thanks, City.
just trying to get,
Well deserved.
this first year under our foot of seeing how things are going.
Certainly.
I know, as far as like countywide, like Knox County is about comparable agency is busyness and stuff, but I can reach out to Rob McMullen. He's been.
We were like in the $19-ish range,
Yes.
if I remember right. So I just, and not that any one department's more important than the other. I definitely don't want to open up that can of worms. It is a 24/7 department, as are the sheriff, as are the police, and the ambulance. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see how we're with the surrounding 4 counties that we have.
Pay scales are
What the pay scales are
I
there.
know if I just had it off the top of my head, Martin County, we're probably higher than them, but we're higher than them in most things. So I can reach out to Rob McMullen and see what like Knox County is comparable to us, because they are, they're central for the most part over there. So
Okay, well, whenever you have time, but and again, I'm not speaking behalf on anyone, but I would guess that if we see that we're way low, that we would do something sooner than later to fix it.
Right.
yeah, the state of Indiana has this past year passed down new training requirements for all dispatchers, because dispatchers are now classified as first responders. So there's a lot more training that goes into a new person than there has been over the years. It's not just informal, it's more of set things that you have to pass and show your certificates for. So getting people, qualified people in that can make it through that training and learn the job while doing that training, and balancing the shift work with your personal life. It's difficult. It takes a special person that actually cares about the job and what we do. So I'm doing my best to get the word out there. So I know I got some interviews scheduled this week and next week to get some prospects. But
Well, great job on the transition. I mean, that's,
thank you.
boy,
That is a big task.
a big task.
I've had a lot of help. The city people, the county, everybody has been very helpful and getting us to the point that we're at. So it's been a team effort for sure, and my staff is doing really great, even through the shortages. They've been doing everything they can to help fill in, and we've all been working all kinds of crazy hours just to, because my goal is to make sure there's enough people in there to take care of any emergencies that our responders or our citizens in the county have, so.
Good.
Any other questions on, as far as that goes? Okay, what's on the agenda today, in lines with the training requirements that are being placed on us. We have to be trained in emergency medical protocols, emergency police, and emergency fire protocols. Previously, that wasn't a requirement. Both the county and the city both were trained in the emergency medical protocols. The system that we previously used was this lovely thing right here. And I presented this in our operations board meeting when I was presenting the software to them, but basically, if you call in and say you have chest pains, we got to locate that card on here and find the questions to ask you. It's very time consuming. So add 2 more protocol sets on that, we would have to have 2 more of these at each station, so you're looking at 12 to 15 of these lying around everywhere. I'm looking at purchasing the software that incorporates all these onto the computer. It's right there at our fingertips. It'll not only help us in training new people, it's going to help the first responders in providing more accurate information that they need. So there was some maintenance and annual agreements that I sent to Grant to look over. The software is going to be purchased out of the 911 fund. There is an interface that we have to purchase for Spillman to incorporate it into our CAD system, and that's going to come out of my county budget for that interface, and that's a one-time purchase. But there is for the software, there is an annual software plan agreement, and then the interface has an annual service agreement. The service maintenance agreements are your standard in case anything they need to fix. So.
And the software updates and stuff too, I guess.
Yeah, that's what the agreement is, that with the service plan, if there's any updates or anything, they also provide training in there. And that portion, if I sent over the invoices and there's a couple line items on there that says it's funded by the E911 board, I submit those invoices directly to the 911 board and they pay for it because it's training. So they do compensate us for a lot of training that we don't even have to pay, and then they reimburse, they just pay it directly. So that will help us because we do have to have so many continuing education hours each year to meet our requirements. So.
All right. You don't have anything for Julie?
So the E911's paying basically for everything except the interface?
Correct. And we had to purchase a server, and I got with Dale, and he did give me a quote, which was included in that. So the software itself is about $61, and then the server was like $2,100. So that can be allocated out of it. It is an eligible expense out of the 911 fund. So.
Anything else?
No, thank you.
All right. If not, look for a motion to approve the back here, Central back. Total response from Central Dispatch.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Got a motion by Nathan Gabhart.
Second.
Second by Ron Arnold. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thanks, Julie. All right, we got Superior Window Cleaning here today. Bruce, morning. Come up to the podium. State your name.
Bruce Croak, Superior Window Cleaning. Good morning. I'm basically here to offer my services to the county. I have a window cleaning service and been operating it for over 25 years. My main focus today is this building. Since it's been built, I don't believe that the windows have been cleaned, and it's good maintenance to have the windows cleaned on a regular basis. It can damage the windows if you don't have them clean with dirt The rain collects on the glass. You have tinted windows here. The sun's energy stops at the glass, and that glass gets very hot and will embed deposits on the glass. And I think, you probably want to protect your investment here. You have a great modern building with tons of glass. You have 255 windows on the outer perimeter of this building. I find often people, when they build buildings like this, window maintenance is never considered in the design. It's like, oh, we got this great building, it's shiny, look how great it is, and then it just goes, over the years. I'd just like to offer my services. I have a new cleaning program that's out on the market now, which is a water-fed pole that can reach up to 60 feet in the air. It requires 0 chemicals or cleaning agents. It's used by super filtrated water, triple filtrated water that has 0 total dissolvable solids in it, basically. So there's no ladders involved. There's no electric lift equipment. There's no repelling equipment involved on coming off the building or anything like that. You stand on the ground. It's just a couple of little tanks. It's got some filters and a garden hose that goes to it. Water comes up, scrub it all down, rinse it all off, and it dries crystal clear. There's several buildings in the county that could use some attention. I've noticed the courthouse, this building. This building's not super bad because it's not very old yet, Some of the other buildings could use some maintenance. And I'd just like to offer my services to the county. I did write up a bid for this building, if you would be so interested in taking a look at it. I've had my business for over 25 years. I have, great feedback. I've done Mr. Arnold's windows a long time ago. I don't know if he remembers that or not. But I do residential and businesses, but I'm looking to get into more industrial cleaning and stuff like that. So basically that's all I have today. I just wanted to make an appearance and offer my services to you guys and hopefully be considered in using my services.
All right, sounds good.
Do you guys have any questions or anything about?
I don't really have anything.
Okay.
I just wonder if you're spraying it off and then cleaning the windows and running down the building, does it stain the side of the building? I've seen some buildings that look like the windows have been cleaned and it ends up on the side.
It's only water. Only water.
What about the dirt and stuff that?
Well, it gets, it's all rinsed down, all the way to the bottom. It's rinsed all the way to the bottom and
You
off.
clean the windows and we couldn't tell you cleaned the windows other than the windows are clean.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for.
It doesn't damage or leave any kind of staining or anything on the outside of the buildings or anything like that. It's a really, really neat process that they've came up with now. And it's, safety wise, it's amazing because I'm getting too old to be climbing ladders. Yeah. And those days are about over with. So anyway, I appreciate your time today and everything. So thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Scott Snare. Morning, sir. Got more items on that agenda than anybody.
Scott Snare, Daviess County Maintenance. To further Mr. Croaks, we did receive an estimate from him for, his estimate was $2,600, right at $2,600. We had gotten an earlier estimate this summer from Talbert's, local company. That estimate was right under $2,000. We currently have on staff a employee who previously worked for Talbert's, so he has all the experience and has been cleaning the front windows this week. We can rent the equipment and do it in-house. That's a decision for you guys to make today. appreciate the quotes. I didn't know it would be that expensive, but we just want to bring the quotes before you guys and just have you guys make the decision. What do you guys think?
Well, I mean, his quote is $10 a window. What do you think you can do it for?
I've not done a cost analyst on it.
I mean,
But,
that's what I'd be interested in. A lot of times you think you can do it yourself.
Yes.
By the time you get it all set up, you find out you probably spent more by the time you went to rent the equipment and everything.
Okay.
So I just say, look at it and see.
Yeah, I know to rent the lift is $600, so it's up to you guys to make a decision.
Well, then it comes down to the time and
Right.
what you're gonna use on them. So
Yeah, true. I mean,
I'd just look into it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's nothing that's pressing, but I mean, if we're currently doing it for $1,000, then I'd say keep doing it. If we're currently doing it for 4,000, then I'd say maybe look at this other times. So, but you keep immaculate care of the buildings, so, yeah, just let us know what you feel is best, and if you guys are strained for time, because we don't know what all you guys do, so.
I think a yearly cleaning would be sufficient, I would think, on these buildings.
Well, I would think so.
Yeah,
That's basically what we're shooting for
yeah,
on each building.
yeah. That way at the courthouse done, hopefully I have new windows over there, we could be a lot easier,
Right.
very clean.
Right, and that's why the estimates for the older buildings are higher, about $1,000 higher, because the windows are not a big surface like this, they have a T-bar in them, and the old caulking around them, so it takes a lot longer, and I understand that. But just so you guys know.
Yeah.
So if you want us to keep doing what we're doing,
Well,
we're
like I
fine
said,
with that, but.
guys, if you're started on it, go ahead and keep doing what you're doing, and if the cost, like I said, exceeds what it would
Just
cost to have
kind
somebody
of
else
track your time and see what we've actually got in it.
got into it. If it exceeds it, then
Continue as you are.
yeah.
All right.
Take a look at it.
Yes, if it exceeds it after a while, and it's something that we need to hire out, we'll just hire it out.
All right, next we have, we're trying to replace some equipment at the courthouse. I understand we're going into renovation. It's really up to you guys whether you want to replace it or not. That we have a paper shredder that is used by the entire building. It's one machine. It's having problems. We have, for instance, the oiler is stopped on it, so I've checked with a local company, and they don't even know if they can find somebody to work on it. He's in the process of trying to find a certain company that does that. His repairmen don't do that specifically. So the machine's probably 15 years old. The other machine is the ice machine, which we've had a lot of problems with that. And in fact, we've had problems with our new machines in this building. So that machine has been here almost as long as I have. I've been here 9 years, so. It's up to you guys. We have quotes on the replacement of those. $23.85 for the ice machine, and on the shredder, they said they would waive the shipping, so the total on the shredder would be $49.95. So, come to ask you guys what you guys wanted to do.
On that shredder, I mean, what size is what physical size is that machine?
It's a 4001, a 4005 model. That's the number, and it's about the size of this podium.
Okay, so it is mobile, movable.
Yes, it's mobile, and the ice machine is, it's on legs, if it was on wheels, it could be mobile. It's not too much problem to move. I know what you're thinking. If we move people, we may move those. It's totally up to you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I think, my preference would be, I feel second quarter 23, dust is gonna be flying over there, and we don't know yet where people are gonna physically be located at. And we're probably 60 days out from finalizing the drafts. So I would like to not replace them at this time, and then that way our architect has a little bit more flexibility. Not that these will be rate limiting by any means, but then they can actually design it in somewhere on central location. So assuming that they're both functioning today, I mean, my thinking is, 90 to 180 days, we're gonna be in transition mode anyway, and let's just get them in with a new building. Would be my thought, but I'm not passionate either way, though.
They do have services too for shredding. If that becomes an issue, you could do it for some period of time.
Yeah, especially if we have people spread around the city,
Yeah, because, that'd be the next phase of this
multiple
thing is
locations, yeah.
where people are physically at during their
Yeah.
remodel, so. And we're highly encouraging each department head to go as paperless, because that's what we've seen, there's probably, Nathan Gabhart's estimate is 1,200 to 1,500 square feet of filing cabinets.
Sitting in different
Sitting
places.
in different places that could be scanned.
You're talking about just the one building, right?
Talking about one office.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. It's not far off, but anyway, no, it's great you're bringing it to us, but if they're functional, and if we could wait, I think they're in the mindset, I think they'd be okay to wait,
Okay.
knowing that the transition's coming.
All right. Next on the agenda is
Are
the
you guys
spring.
okay with that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's good.
sounds good.
All right. We'll hold off on that then. Next up is the sprinklers for this building, the grounds. When they had a change order back when they built this building. Originally, it was all designed for rock, which I agree, the grass is better, but at the time, they didn't put the change order in for sprinkler system to keep that grass alive. So we've had a pretty difficult time of keeping it from looking bad. So we received 3 bids on sprinkler system, just right around this building and down to the east to 4th Street. So those bids came in at $34,430, 90, $21,911.20, and local Wichman's Landscaping came in at $13,044.68. So we are just looking for approval to move on with the project.
I don't have any problem doing this project for this building. I mean, every summer when it gets dry, you guys are out there just moving sprinkler heads all day long, trying to keep the grass green. And I think in time it'll pay for itself. I know it's a big expense up front, but the amount of time you guys spend out there moving water and keeping this thing looking nice, I think it's well worth it at $13,000. What your guys' thoughts are?
It's hard for me to stomach $13,000,
Just the water.
no more grass than what's out there. But it is important that it looks nice and you set an example, keep your property up. So, and again, I didn't have much to do with the building. I don't know why it was switched to grass from rock. I'm sure there was a reason, so I'll agree. I'll follow your lead on this one.
When they first designed the building, we was trying to design it after the courthouse. We wanted to emulate the courthouse the way it was. Grass, sidewalk grass, then rock up to the building, so. That's the reason they got
I'll follow
changed.
your lead on this one.
So, but these guys do a phenomenal job keeping this property looking good, both properties looking good, and, at the end of the day, I'd prefer to have grass out there than weeds. So,
I agree.
I know it's a big expense, $13,000 is huge, but it's a far cry from the first bid, which he said was like $34,000. I have no stomach for that at all. And $13,000 is definitely high, but,
Starting to sound like a politician. We just saved the taxpayer $20,000.
no, we didn't. We're getting ready to spend $13,000 to keep grass green, but I think it's to keep this building up and maintained, and then I think over time it will pay for itself.
And I might add, that's coming out of the building fund, funds we already have, so.
Anything on that, Nathan?
Yeah, you're sounding like a politician. These are the tough ones. I mean, if this was Nathan Gabhart's building, I'd have a hose and a sprinkler from Orscheln's out there, is what I would do. It's obviously the taxpayers' building. You guys do an immaculate job keeping these facilities looking excellent. Sounds like you already got 2 votes, so I'm gonna
He's abstaining.
throw these 2 under the bus. But no, obviously, if you feel it's needed, I respect your opinion on the facilities, so that would go along with your recommendation.
And if it saves them time from having to go out and set up the sprinkles, it will recoup some of that.
Okay, so we accept the Witchmans?
Witchmans? Yeah.
Assuming that they're all apples to apples, I mean, I'm assuming the
Yes.
specs are all the same.
Yes, it's basically, and the local vendor came in cheapest, which I was glad to see that. The middle quote was from Jasper, the other one was from, I think, Bloomington. We just had a really hard time finding anybody interested in doing the work.
The only concern about Witchmans is there's no detail on their bill. Everyone else has exactly what they're covering. I just want to make sure we don't get a $13,000 labor bill and a $12,000 supply bill, so I'm assuming, obviously, it's not. It was just,
Basically drip lines. We've got some installed at the courthouse around the building, so we can show you that if you're interested.
okay, but this is all in on Witchman's bill. Okay.
They do good work.
Oh, yeah, we love them. Yeah, we use, that's who we use.
Yeah, I use them too,
Yeah.
so. All right.
I'll make a
For
motion to
okay.
approve the Witchman's irrigation bill for the government center.
At $13,044.68. Got
Yes.
a motion by Nathan Gabhart. Second. Second by Ron Arnold. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
Last item on the agenda is we have some lights on this building that we need to replace. Have not held up. Bulbs that they use are not holding up, not lasting. So we are looking to replace the entire unit. There's 20 of them total around the building. We're going to have a little bit different light pattern. We currently have one on the west side. Looks really nice. Looks much better than what we had. I think it'll weather good. So we need an okay just to get 19 more,
Yeah, well,
approximately $110.
yeah, what happened, every building on the perimeter of this, I mean, every light on the perimeter of this building up high, just for the facade. They put them up, they lasted decently when they first installed them when the building was still being built. And then most of them burned out by the time the building was built. They replaced them, and 80% of them within the first month burn out again. And those bulbs, what were those bulbs? God, they were expensive.
They were, yes, it was some
Can't remember.
specialty bulb. I'm not even sure they were outside.
Yeah, outside bulbs. So we had a lot of issues with them, so I've had them try 2 or 3 different lights in this building. We got one light on the very northeast corner. It's more of a fluorescent light. It kind of washed the building and didn't look nice. They didn't install this, I don't know what you call this light out here, but it's an up and down light. On the west side of the building, southwest corner here. It looks nice. I think those lights, you've not had any issues since you've installed them over there, have you? So, I mean, I think if you guys walk out, it's right above this wall right here. If you walk outside, you'll see it, but I think it's the thing to do is change the lights out and have something that keep the building lit and get the right ambiance for the building.
Yeah.
On that being said, are they all white lights, or do you have an option of doing colors?
They are a warm light, they're called. Not a real bright light, more of an accent light to the building.
So if you come here in the nighttime, walk over here in this northeast corner on the alley side. We've got a bright white light. It just washes the building completely out. So we chose to use it more like an incandescent bulb with a warm light on it. It looks a lot better.
In some buildings that have colored lights.
Cool.
Yeah. The bulbs could be changed out. I think you could probably even use a smart bulb where you have any color you wanted.
And again, maybe a little off topic a little bit, but when we were designing the building, the long columns of limestone were initially were intended to have some sort of like banners and schools who are in regional, or you remember those?
I do remember that.
designs?
Those are scheduled to come out, and these lights will take those places.
Okay, I didn't know if there was any future thought of using those On paper, you know, how everything looks great on paper, but you know, you put the Hatchets or the North Davies or Bar Reeve and have these, or switch it out through the seasons, and so.
I think the rest, those banner lights actually are still working. It's the other lights that's failed.
Okay.
I think we need to change them all out and get rid of those banner lights because they don't
Okay.
fit the building with not having a banner underneath them.
Right.
But I think we probably do need to keep those on hand in the basement or something, in case we ever do want to put a banner out there or something. We got lights to put back up there, reinstall in the future.
I'm a little leery of putting anything on the facade, because our limestone facade is very fragile.
Yeah.
You know, we've had to fix places, came in, you know, it's not a good.
That was the issue whenever we were still thinking about putting banners on that building after we chose the facade that we put in. There's a 3.5-inch airspace between that and the building. There was no way to physically tie a banner out there. That's the reason he's going to vinyl it.
Yeah.
So we may never do it in the future.
Okay, yeah, and which I'm fine with. I just want to make sure that we factor that in with the new lights, so, okay.
So look for a motion to approve to redo the lights on the exterior of the annex. Got a motion by Nathan Gabhart.
Second.
Second by Ron Arnold. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it, Scott.
Thanks, Scott.
All right, ADA compliance form deadline. Did we meet our deadline, Jen? Did everybody get in?
Yeah, sure. Yes is the short answer, but nothing in government is simple. So I spoke to, or reached out to the two judges yesterday. So, long story short, the judges' employees are governed under another body through the state. There's some acronym, and then that association works through the judges to ensure that their employees have the proper training, and I'm butchering that terribly. But the point of it is that, you know, they don't, so no, yes, but the judges, and team members have not, but they are going to still show them the PowerPoints and so forth. I encourage them, hey, just go ahead and spend a minute, sign that form.
It's 15 minutes. I done it myself.
We
15
got a
minutes
letter,
tops.
we got a letter from the state that protecting us, because it's about the federal highway dollars.
Right.
We have to have ADA.
Right.
Which is fine. We got 40+ million for Oden-Kenneburg Road, right, and we want to keep that money.
Right.
So, but they've given us the letter that will exonerate us when we're audited, and in their minds, it was just easier to do it that way. So we got the letter, and I said, perfect, check the box, and we move on.
Done.
So
So
Jen
we
did a
are
great job.
compliant now then. Right.
We are compliant
Compliant. Okay. So
with
that's,
that letter.
at the end of the day, that's all that matters, as long as we're compliant and still getting our federal
That's the
funds.
tone I took at the end of the day. And,
Yeah, that's a little odd, but I'll accept it.
so, but they were very nice. They weren't like, I mean, they were very cordial and so forth. It was.
Like I said, I done it myself. It took 15 minutes of my time. That's all it
less
took.
than that.
Yeah. At the most. I mean, by the time I open my laptop up.
And you get them
got
all
it.
together at the same time.
Yeah.
Pass around the sign-up form, but okay.
Yep,
We're
it works.
compliant, and,
It'll be what it'll be.
different ways to skin a cat.
As long as we're compliant, that's all that matters at the end of the day, so.
Yeah,
All right.
Jen did a great job.
Appreciate it, Jen. Thanks a lot.
No problem.
All right, Jen, I guess you want to come up and speak on the, HSA plans for the county.
Before you today, I have gathered some information. Our current HSA contributions that the employers maintain their accounts at our local bank through Old National, they are outsourcing. I went ahead, I had some concerns, I had some employees reach out and question it because with this being outsourced, I think it was even out of state, and the rates of which these accounts are held, the rates were gonna be lower on the interest and different things. So I went ahead and I checked in with several different local banks here in town. The UMB Healthcare Services is who Old National is outsourcing to, but I reached out to First Federal, Springs Valley, German American, and First Savings. First Federal and then First Savings, so in that order. Springs Valley and German American were the two that are willing to waive the fees for the current accounts. Old National is going to charge us $25 if we were to move the monies that our employees have sitting in their accounts right now. German American and Springs Valley have both stated that they would put the $25 in the account to waive those fees, basically to cover it from Old National, so they're not having to carry around two different HSA cards until one's completely expended and whatnot in that retrospect. I don't have a preference either way with German American or Springs Valley. I will just bring to your attention, I forwarded out the interest rates that these accounts would bear. Springs Valley's did come in higher.
I don't have any issue with either one of those banks.
Can we use both? I have no idea, or knows a good, fine answer, I just didn't know.
It's
Um,
probably
It'll
be,
work for you if
yeah,
we use
more
two.
for
It's just
Okay.
And
maybe,
there's only, there's 15 on it?
right now currently, yes,
There's only
but
15, so
with
I'd-
the increase of HSA plans, we're in the middle, the contribution with the county into the employees, we're in middle of open enrollment. I have not seen the numbers for
What are
any
we kicking
changes.
in now? What's the county kicking in on the HSA?
It's $750 and $1,500, I think,
Okay,
is what we did.
okay.
An individual plan, it got bumped up to $750 and then it's $1,500 based off of the plan that they elect. And then the employee contributes whatever they, up to that rate amount that they're allowed if they want to. I think it's
So even-
$7,300.
I think Springs Valley is a better choice.
yeah, it looks like they're even waiving, Springs Valley's even waiving the below balance fee,
Yep.
$350, and they're even waiving,
Correct.
even the closing fee, they're waiving it at $30 too also.
Yes.
Yeah. They are a client of mine, so I'll abstain.
Same. Any other, anything else on that? Got a motion, Ron?
I'll make a motion that we go with Springs Valley.
Okay, I got a motion by Ron Arnold, Nathan's abstaining, I'll second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
One little thing, I did have Rhea go ahead and put it on the screen. Janice Williams has reached out to me. There has been a polling location change due to the Ruatan in Bar Township, Bar 1. That polling location has, since it's sustained damage with the fire, they have changed now to the old Stop and See building, and she just wanted to make sure that we got that information out.
Okay. I don't have any issue with that at all. Do you guys have any issue with that?
No.
All right, thanks, Jen. All right, gentlemen, have anything else for the commissioners?
Just a real quick update, I'm sorry, and we may put a courthouse update on as a recurring item. Some meetings there won't be anything, but we're getting ready to get in the busy season with the
Right.
courthouse remodel. So I sent the email out yesterday, I got from our QAW in Garmong on Monday. Darren Hoder, Tom Schaefer, and I had met with all the department heads, and then Matt Meredith came in during some of that process. Sent all the notes to our QAW. They've come up with it's really a rough draft still.
Yeah.
They haven't done any of the mechanical engineering where the columns are, weight-bearing walls, so it may not even work. But I sent that out to the department heads first, just so that they could have, and then, that same day, I sent it out to the rest of the team. I went ahead and called the judges and Dan as the department heads to let them know, hey, look, this is gonna look very different from that first thing you saw. So don't get too excited, right? And don't get too upset. Just give us your feedback.
Yeah.
And so the plan is to basically give them, let's say, till the end of next week, let's say, and to review it. And then we'll probably, maybe that same group, and I may let the councilmen out of it just because, they've really put in a lot of time. Basically get the notes back from the department heads with our QAW and Garmong on what will work and what won't work. And then they can go to that next step and do a budget on it and run the traps like you say with the MEP and all that jargon that I don't fully understand. So, but the hope is, if I remember Jeremy's statements, the hope is to potentially get this out to bid yet this year. Is the hope, because there's a lot of companies eager for work, and then have late first quarter, early second quarter.
And we need to get it,
As a start date.
we do need to get it out for bid if we're gonna do it, because
Yeah.
it'll be the same thing we ran into with the Montgomery Bridge. Yeah.
My goal is by Thanksgiving, we have all this thing buttoned up to 90%, and then some of it we just have to figure out during the construction.
Construction period, yeah.
So that's where we're at on that. But everyone so far.
I did look through that rough draft of everything. Everything looks good on that. If we get everything to fit in there, it'd be unbelievable.
So I was a big proponent of moving community corrections in. I wanted less buildings to maintain. We got 6,000 square feet of open space on the main floor, and they use 3,000 square feet, so just plug them in. Well, once we started evaluating that, the clientele and the security measures and the intermingling of public and community corrections tenants became problematic in the design of it, on how do we have different entrances for different folks. It got extremely complicated, and then it started to consume too much of the space for the ADA. And anyone's been in Judge Sebecki's courtroom, I mean, there's, I think, 6 inches of space between the pews.
Yeah.
So we need more space for ADA compliance. So community corrections will not be able to go into the existing 4 walls, but the hopes was that we keep the existing 4 walls, we work within those 4 walls, and we don't go outside of those 4 walls as far as the renovation project.
That'd be great if we keep it in there.
Is the goal, but bring in CASA, bring in APS, community corrections where they're at.
Right, for now, yeah.
And I think, yeah, so that was the main learning lesson, is that community corrections, if we want to stay in those 4 walls, more than likely isn't going to work. So
Okay.
that's what we got. So give them to the end of next week to provide feedback back to Garmong, our QAW, and then at that point we can bring everyone together, have another joint meeting.
No, I like what I saw. I like the idea that the way it's structured, you'll be able to save some of the space as it is. We'll not be ripping everything out.
Right.
That's a big thing, especially when you look at the basement, for instance. My only comment would be, as you move forward with this, is some of the offices that you walk in the door and you go into a lobby area, I would try and incorporate the lobby area out in the lobby where it's at now. And pick up a little bit of space. It may not be functional. And I don't know what you have as far as opening up some of those doorways, if you have to keep the doorways as they are.
That's the
Yes,
biggest
like with
issue.
child support, for instance, we need to move it out, and so that it has more of a secure entrance, and probation needs a juvenile and adult entrance, so there's some of these idiosyncrasies that we learned a little bit, which I kept going back to the fact that for 100 years,
And it's still problematic as far as the security of the building, because under that scenario, what, is the main entrance still the basement door?
well, right now, the main entrance is the basement door, and basically everyone will be funneled in through the secure lobby
In the basement?
The basement, yeah.
in the basement.
I wish we had an option there.
And we're trying to make where you can do an exit through the south doors, but I'm a traditionalist. I love coming into the front of the courthouse. And so the design, so write down your thoughts, send them. This is by no means a final design by any means. But the prosecutor's office, for instance, is going to remain 90% exactly as is. So there will be minimal, not zero.
No need tearing it out and put back.
Judge Smith's courtroom is fairly sufficient, but there's ADA, so we wanted just to use that as a template, and then
Bump it down, yeah.
and then obviously the main level will be gutted to put Sebecki's courtroom in, but a lot of steps. So email your comments, and then we'll get them all collected. So
Thanks for the work.
All right.
I appreciate the work
Yep.
you've done on that so far.
We'll get you rest.
If we can get, you get that part done, I'll get it built for you. How's
Yeah,
that?
you guys are going to be up next. All right, thank you.
Ron, you got anything else for the commissioners?
I do not.
Anybody else in the audience have anything for the commissioners? Come up to the podium. Yeah, just state your name up here.
Thank you, gentlemen. I'm Scott Dyer. I own Jumpin' Jacks here Southtown.
Yeah.
And I wanted to say thank you for the nice road put out in front of my facility this week, or last week. It's great. I appreciate it very, very much. It's going to be great for many years to come. I would request one little thing. I serve about 8 counties around us. And the week that you chose to do the work, I had school closing all around us with fall break. It would have been nice if I could have got a heads up. And I could have said, hey, it's not a really good week. Could it be 2 weeks later or earlier? Other than that, because I had people come in that drove from out of town, from Jasper up. One lady came in and she was very, very upset. She had to park down below, transition up that real steep hill as a grandmother. And when she came in, she was not happy. And it would have been nice if I could have received a call and I could have just.
Yeah, we don't call everybody, but we do try to advertise that. It was advertised, you know.
I appreciate that.
But
And it actually got delayed. We had trouble with lightning strike and I think an oil pump.
And I know
we're paving later than we ever have, just because we've had trouble with our asphalt plant. We apologize for that, but we do try to advertise so people are aware of what it is.
And I think it's great. The guys out front is trying to work around the traffic. Had a sign up that said road closed. Had people that wouldn't drive through it because they follow signs.
Yeah.
Some tried and they let them come through.
Yeah, we always try to have a working construction zone.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that.
I'm saying so people could still get through there.
I was in construction for years, so I understand that. And they did let cars travel across it, but they put oil on the road, and nobody wants to drive through oil.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate it. Only thing I could say is that if I was the only retail business on that road at this point in time, and a heads up would have been nice, because I could have contacted the people I have that follow me, and I could say, guys, road's gonna be closed. And I don't take the newspaper, so.
We can talk that over with the highway department. To where they knows where they can. No, they did, in my opinion, they did a real nice job on the road, actually.
They did a great job.
Made it 2 foot wider than what it was, and it looks good. And it's a high-traffic road.
It's very high traffic.
McAllister's back there and
A lot of people use that for a cut through a lot.
Yeah.
So.
And I appreciate it greatly. I just,
One suggestion, just with the end in mind, not that this will happen again for 5 or 10 years, but if you contact the highway department and give them your contact information, they'll put you on the list. And anytime there's any road closing in the county, you'll be automatically notified. Because with 1,000 businesses, it's just challenging. Like Odin Kennelberg Road, we've got dozens, and it's just, I get it, it sucks, and I wish there was a better answer, but I think you getting on that list would be extremely helpful, because you may even get some notices from NDOT if Highway 57. But short of that, that's probably the only way you're gonna get notified consistently.
right, I was just thinking it'd been nice if I could have got it, and then I got an email of all my people that come in, and I could have sent them an email, hey guys, it's gonna be closed because of this, but.
Yeah, if you're on this list, you would have gotten that email.
That's the only reason I came, guys.
Yeah,
It's a
appreciate it.
great looking road. I thank you for it.
Thanks, Scott. Appreciate
And your
it.
taxes didn't even go up.
How about that?
Thanks for
Thanks a
coming in,
lot.
Scott.
All right. Anybody have anything else for the commissioners? If not, I'll look for a motion to pay payroll, pay claims, and adjourn.
So moved.
Got a motion by Nathan Gabhart.
Second.
Second by Ron Arnold. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it.
Even gonna stay and sign the claims.
Oh, yeah.